What is a hero? To some, it is their parents, the police, firefighters, or doctors. The dictionary defines a hero as someone who is admired for their courage, their outstanding achievements, and their noble qualities. To me, a hero is someone who stands up for what they believe in, who takes risks that others deem too risky, and someone who knows their limits and knows when they need to ask for help. Someone who I believe encompasses all of these qualities is George Washington. George Washington originally started as an officer in the British Army, but by the time of the Revolutionary War, he rose to be General George Washington of the Continental Army as we know him today. He was later chosen to be president of the Constitutional Convention and was elected the first president of the United States of America. What makes him a hero is all that he has done for our country. He rallied the Continental troops and won the war with innovative thinking. His ability to lead also makes him a hero, as he determined what was best for our country. Heroic characteristics that George Washington has is that he took necessary risks that others deemed too risky, such as when he asked a doctor to cut into the sores of someone who had smallpox, and then take what came out of the sores and put it into his healthy troops as a way to hopefully help his troops overcome smallpox and be ready to fight again. While it was a very risky maneuver, George Washington knew that if he didn't take the risk, they would lose the war for sure. Another heroic characteristic that George Washington has was that while he was not the most equipped for some things such as to run a country, he did surround himself with those who he knew that he could trust and who could help him, such as Alexander Hamilton, Thomas Jefferson, and others. Communication was a big part in George Washington's life. He had to be able to communicate both written and orally. As leader of the Continental Army, he had to be able to orally lead his troops on the battlefield, but also to be able to write commands so that his other commanding officers would know what they need to tell their troops to do. Communication came into his Constitutional Convention role as president, as he needed to be able to hear both sides of what people thought was best, and then help determine what was truly best for the people and what was best for their new country. As president, he had to be able to communicate with his cabinet and with the rest of the United States, as he needed to get out new laws. George Washington is a role model because he stood up for what he believed in. One of George Washington's biggest platforms that he believed in was neutrality. He believed that because America was such a new country, they did not need to be fighting in wars. While others did not agree with him, such as Thomas Jefferson, when the time came for the French Revolutionary War, Washington stuck to his beliefs and decided to draft a documentation of neutrality, saying that they would not support the French until they knew who was truly leading them. What we can learn from George Washington is how to lead in tough times, how to take a risk that for the greater good, and to stand firm in our beliefs.